the State of the Union is strong because you, the American people, are strong. We are stronger today.
President Biden addressed major issues from the war in Ukraine to inflation in his first State of the Union address. Thanks for being here, everyone. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Nada Rampur. So glad you're with us here. The president announced the U.S. is banning Russian planes from its airspace. He also laid out his domestic agenda, highlighting areas where he hopes to find some bipartisan support.
CBS 8's Skyler Henry is live on Capitol Hill now with more on that. Good morning to you, Skyler.
Eric, Netta, good morning to you. Well, the president almost immediately addressed Russian President Vladimir Putin and condemning his invasion into Ukraine, really rallying the American people around Ukraine as well. On the domestic front, also urging Congress to try to pass parts of that Build Back Better plan that stalled in the Senate last year, as well as focusing on other key issues, namely pushing back and trying to find a way to curb inflation.
At his first State of the Union, President Biden vowed to make Vladimir Putin pay a price for his invasion of Ukraine.
He thought he could roll into Ukraine and the world would roll over. Instead, he met with a wall of strength he never anticipated or imagined. He met the Ukrainian people.
Some members of Congress wore blue and yellow in support of Ukraine. Lawmakers stood and cheered for the Ukrainian ambassador to the U.S., who was seated with First Lady Jill Biden.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
During the hour-long speech, Mr. Biden laid out what he called a unity agenda in hopes of building bipartisanship in Congress.
4 big things we can do together, in my view.
Included in that is fighting the opioid epidemic, improving mental health, giving veterans better health care, and cutting the death rate from cancer.
We are stronger today than we were a year ago. And we'll be stronger a year from now.
Mr. Biden also argued that his economic policies will lower inflation.
Instead of relying on foreign supply chains, let's make it in America.
The president wants to cut the cost of prescription drugs, lower energy costs, and cap a household's child care spending.
If we're weak at home.
Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds delivered the Republican response.
The president's approach to foreign policy has consistently been too little, too late.
President Biden travels to Wisconsin today to tout the infrastructure law Congress passed last year.
So the president hits the road. A thing to pay attention to is how well the American people across the country really paid attention and really responded to his remarks, not only now, but in the weeks and months ahead, especially as Democrats try to keep control here in Washington, looking ahead to those midterm elections later this year. Guys.
CBS's Skyler Henry for the report. Thank you so much.
So what does the president's speech mean for the United States' role in Ukraine?
We're going to break down that, and we're going to have more reaction from our political panel. That's all coming up at 6:30.
Meantime, the UN General Assembly will vote on a resolution today demanding Russia immediately stop using force against Ukraine and withdraw its military forces.
Russia continues to bombard residential areas in Ukraine's second largest city of Kharkiv. This video shows buildings on fire this morning. Ukraine's president says he's open to holding more talks with Russia, but insists they must stop bombarding his citizens.
More and more of these cities demolished there. A lot of San Diegans right now looking for ways to help. You just feel for the people of Ukraine. CBS 8's Dana Marie McNichol joining us live now with how to make sure your donations are going straight to the people who need it most. An important question many people have. Good morning, Dana Marie.
Good morning to you both. Charitable organizations donating to the Ukrainian crisis have gone up 3,000%. Now, this is according to charitynavigator.org, which rates nonprofits. Now, of course, people, like you said, are wondering if their money is going directly to Ukraine. And this morning, the Salvation Army is one of several legitimate organizations doing just that.
Well, people certainly have wanted to help and are very touched by this situation. And it's certainly easy to give blankets or clothing, but almost impossible for us to get in there. And the cost of shipping to get there would just be phenomenal.
That That was Colonel Lee Lascanso, who says at the Salvation Army's website, people can select an option ensuring every dollar of what they give goes straight to Ukraine. The organization already has sites in Ukraine and the surrounding areas, so the impact of your dollar is already being felt. The donations collected so far have provided some hygiene kits and shelter. They've also helped get people to safety. Now, while the Salvation Army is a good place to start, there's a number of other ways you can give. Now, Charity Navigator has recommended over a dozen organizations to help in the Ukrainian crisis. They do point out to make sure to check if that nonprofit is registered as a 501c3 nonprofit before you donate any money. Now, you can find a link to donate through the Salvation Army on CBS8.com. You can use it as a resource. I know so many people are watching the devastation, wanting to know how they can help, and this is one way. Live in Kearney Mesa, I'm Dana Marie McNichol. I'll send it back to you.
Dana Marie, thank you. A major balk for Major League Baseball. Yes, Major League Baseball officially announcing that the first games are going to be canceled here. We are still in the lockout after the league and the players failed to strike this new agreement. CBS 8's Chris Groh live at Petco Park with where the talks stand here. And the big impact on the fans here, just very disappointed by this.
Yeah, it does really seem like it's going to be the fans who are kind of left out here, the sort of unintended victims of what remains a labor disagreement, a labor strife, however you want to put it. But there is a disagreement between both sides, and it's really hard to find out where are we, right? Are we in the first inning of these negotiations, the seventh inning stretch? They've been going at it for a while, but where do we actually stand? What type of progress has been made? Now, for those of you wondering about the impact, again, we are seeing several games being canceled here by Major League Baseball. At least the first two series will be canceled, which means instead of 156 games, we'll likely only see 160, instead of 162, we'll likely only see about 156. Now, for the Padres, for those of you that bought those opening day tickets versus the Giants, those 4 games, that series likely to be gone, if not already. Don't know if it's going to be rescheduled. And then 2 more games versus the Rockies. Now, the divide, of course, is over money. The players want to see higher payrolls by every team throughout the league, and the owners, they are not submitting numbers that the players' union will agree to. Now, of course, there are a number of other issues that are at stake here, but here was MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred announcing that decision there to go ahead and cancel several games here to start the season.
The calendar dictates that we're not going to be able to play the first 2 series of the regular season, and those games are officially canceled. We're prepared to continue negotiations. We've been informed that the MLBPA is headed back to New York, meaning that no agreement is possible until at least Thursday. As such, camps could not meaningfully operate until at least March 8th, leaving only 23 days before the scheduled opening day.
Now, we heard from the owner and chairman of the Padres who wrote in a statement, as you can see right there. I'll read to you that second paragraph. It says, quote, "We are working hard to build a consistently winning team that you deserve, and I cannot wait to be together with you again at Petco Park when the season begins. We will be ready to compete for our first World Series championship and need your continued support." They then provide a link, padres.com/update, for the refund policy for those canceled games. Now, again, also important to note, look, the lockout is a owner-initiated bargaining tactic. This is not a strike, which, of course, would be work stoppage from the player's side. Netta?
Chris Groh explaining that for us. Thank you so much. Well, today, Christians around the world are celebrating the first day of Lent on this Ash Wednesday. And this morning, St. Paul's Episcopal Cathedral will take the church to the street with ashes to go. So look what they do. This service is for people who cannot make it to church. Ashes and prayers will be offered at several locations across downtown San Diego and Bankers Hill. It's happening from 7:30 this morning to noon. And let's send it over to Evan now. So you're telling us there's some changes coming, but each day has been so beautiful.
It's been amazing. Yesterday we broke some records out there. We had temperatures in the 80s, and it was amazing, right? Ridge of high pressure stayed in place. That's going to be the same case today, but we're going to start to transition toward some wet weather. So here's the view outside from Mount Soledad. An incredible start to the morning. A few clouds out there that'll start to increase as the day goes on. So we'll see an increase in cloud cover as we head toward especially your Friday and Saturday and that's when we run into our best chance for some precipitation in the mix. Let's talk about today, though. Upper 70 and low 80-degree temperatures for your coast and inland. Will cool down by just about 3 degrees or so no big significant change to your coastline and inland forecast. Across your mountains and deserts will actually warm up by 2 or 3 degrees. So we have slightly cooler temperatures for your coastline and inland, slightly warmer temperatures for your mountains and your deserts. That's because we're going to shift toward onshore flow. That'll promote cloud development across the county and cool us down closer to the coastline. And this is all as we anticipate some wet weather in the forecast. Early Friday morning, late Thursday night, that's when the first band comes through. It'll likely come as a decent amount of precipitation, and that'll be the bulk of it. But then showers will continue in this lighter fashion for the day on Friday as well as the day on Saturday. When all is said and done, we're looking at about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch along your coastline, 3/4 of an inch up to an inch for your valleys. Mountains are expecting the possibility of up to 2 inches and up to 1/4 of an inch for your deserts. Right now, as you look outside and walk out the door, Ramona's quite chilly, 35 degrees, 54 in Alpine, 45 in El Cajon, and 46 degrees currently in San Diego. Let's take a look at what's going on in traffic this morning. A couple things to mention that I want to take you to. Looks like we've been able to track a couple clearances as far as the crashes go for earlier this morning, but these two are still on scene. 805, we got the right-hand shoulder blocked with a crash on the 805 northbound at Palm Avenue. Also on the 54, right-hand shoulder is blocked with a crash on the eastbound lanes. That's right before the 4th Avenue exit. And then taking you up north, the lane that was blocked on the 15 has been cleared. However, we still have the right-hand shoulder blocked on the 5. That's the 5 southbound as you get onto the 76.